which can turn into another world for kids. Yet, imagine a scenario in which those robots begin thinking like people. The present most recent Hollywood sci-fi thriller is named M3GAN. Your folks will like this film particularly in light of the fact that its story is astonishing. So your folks should watch the video till the end, and in the event that you are new to the channel, likewise subscribe into the channel. The story starts by showing the new automated toys of the cutting-edge world, which were turning out to be extremely popular in the present world. A young lady named Katie was playing with one such automated toy. In any case, one day in the mountains of Colorado, couple Ava and Ryan, and their little girl Katie are engaged with an auto collision while heading on a ski trip. Katie is the last one standing of the accident. The scene movements to a toy organization where we see Gemma. Gemma companions are Tess and Cole. Together, she used to make new forms of automated toys. Alongside this, every one of the three were chipping away at a side venture which was not prepared at this point. Gemma was building the Model 3 generative android, in short M3GAN, which will be such a doll that will be capable to play with youngsters in an unconstrained manner. Gemma's group didn't tell their supervisor David about the venture on the grounds that M3GAN wasn't prepared at this point. However, today David sees M3GAN. David blows up at Gemma for concealing everything from him. Also, he was not even prepared to pay attention to Gemma's thought of M3GAN. At the point when Gemma advises M3GAN to make proper acquaintance. So M3GAN's head detonated on the grounds that M3GAN was not prepared at this point. David orders Gemma to shut down this work and Gemma's mystery project falls flat. After this, Gemma arrives at the clinic in light of the fact that Katie was really her sister's little girl, who had recovered awareness in the medical clinic. Katie's folks were dead, thus Gemma takes care of Katie. Gemma brings Katie back home and we figure out more. Like nearby to Gemma's home resides an old woman, Celia, who is certainly not a decent neighbor. Likewise, Gemma is somewhat anxious on the grounds that she doesn't have the foggiest idea how to deal with youngsters. Gemma makes an honest effort to deal with Katie, like recounting her accounts around evening time, giving treatment, and all the other things. Yet, Katie was troubled and Gemma was irritated about this. The advisor's name is Lydia. She takes note that Gemma may not be a decent parent. So returning, Lydia persuades Gemma that perhaps she ought to send Katie to her grandparents' house, which exacerbates Gemma. Now that evening, Gemma works till late around evening time. Katie discovers that Gemma makes mechanical toys. Furthermore, they bond a piece here. There, Gemma likewise gets a robot toy named Bruce, which could be worked by wearing a few gloves. Katie truly loves Bruce. Also, she lets Gemma know that assuming she had something similar toy as Bruce, she could never request a toy. This gives Gemma a thought. Gemma presently finishes her incomplete tasks along with her companions. Also, she makes M3GAN. Gemma had an arrangement that perhaps M3GAN would make Katie cheerful. Also, assuming Katie and M3GAN become companions, perhaps David will get Gemma's thought. Gemma presents Katie and M3GAN in the wake of making it. She coordinates Katie with M3GAN so she as it were pays attention to Katie. Presently, when M3GAN is on, she begins taking note every one of the shenanigans of Katie. M3GAN chats with Katie, and not just that, she likewise makes a drawing of her. Katie becomes excited with M3GAN and David is stunned to see this. David finds M3GAN's venture exceptionally effective, furthermore acknowledges Gemma's thought. This implies that before long toys like M3GAN will begin going onto the market. Presently, M3GAN returns home with Katie and they get to know one another. M3GAN was learning things like an individual. The more she was remaining with Katie, the more she was drawing near to her. Furthermore, along these lines, Katie and M3GAN became dearest companions. Katie was extremely cheerful and Gemma was likewise blissful since now she didn't need to take vehicle off. Working over, Gemma, Tess, and Cole were gradually developing M3GAN, so they can offer their plan to a major organization. In any case, Tess was somewhat stressed here in light of the fact that in the event that M3GAN would frame a nearby bond with the kids, then the kids could begin moving ceaselessly from their folks. Now that Tess is conversing with Gemma about it, M3GAN goes after herself. M3GAN adds her contemplations to the discussion, which was a piece odd. M3GAN frequently doesn't actually close down in light of the fact that M3GAN says that she will close down just at Katie's command. M3GAN learns here that Katie's folks are dead. What's more, here interestingly, M3GAN gets it that each person will pass on one day. Everybody gets stunned by these things. What's more, Gemma sets herself as an optional client inside M3GAN and closes it down. Be that as it may, here M3GAN, who is a robot, begins addressing herself. What's her motivation in this world? Furthermore, for what reason does she need to pay attention to the words of people? M3GAN presently notices every single new thing. What's more, she poses inquiries connected with everything. M3GAN just considers KD a companion and she simply needed to work for her. One day she goes to the neighbor's home to get KD's toy. However, Celia's canine gets M3GAN. The canine begins gnawing M3GAN, and when KD goes to save her, so that canine chomps KD's hand as well. Hearing KD's shouts, Gemma shows up and deals with the circumstance. Gemma takes KD to the emergency clinic, yet presently M3GAN is watching Celia with a foe's eyes. However, Celia actually talks discourteously and doesn't even acknowledge her canon's shortcoming. Because of this, Celia additionally overreacts. Now that evening, M3GAN sees that the police likewise failed to address the canine. Thus M3GAN goes in the evening and gets that canine and kills it. The following day, Celia sets out making a course for find her canine and Gemma sees it. Gemma goes to ask about KD's well-being. Be that as it may, presently M3GAN is interfering with their discussion as though she were a human. What's more, we were very much aware that M3GAN has come quite far. Today there was an exhibition at the toy organization in which many individuals came to see M3GAN and KD. In that exhibition, M3GAN plays with KD. Be that as it may, KD out of nowhere begins crying. Here KD imparts her folks' pain to M3GAN, then M3GAN deals with her. M3GAN stores KD's recollections inside her memory with the goal that KD always remembers her folks. She sings her a cradle song and KD is excited. The whole organization is stunned since, supposing that a robot can change human feelings, it can do anything. Gemma feels terrible on the grounds that KD shared her sadness with M3GAN and not Gemma. After the exhibit, the proprietor of the organization advances Gemma. Presently the organization was prepared to send off M3GAN in the public market. In the meantime, a worker named Kurt takes M3GAN's innovation and you all memorable need this. Then again, KD simply needed to be with M3GAN. KD was not in any event paying attention to Gemma, due to which Gemma was feeling more unusual at this point. She was feeling that she could have made a serious mix-up by making M3GAN. KD begins crying during a treatment meeting. What's more, M3GAN panics Lydia. M3GAN was flying off the handle since KD was crying in view of Lydia. Lydia converses with Gemma now. She makes sense of for her that M3GAN is making a bond in KD's life that will be troublesome to break. Furthermore, perhaps this is a serious mix-up. Gemma was likewise seeing this now since KD was done paying attention to her. Also, Gemma is compelled to force her words on KD. KD and Gemma get into a contention over this during supper. Because of this, M3GAN blows up. However, this time because of her annoyance, the light begins flashing. This implies that M3GAN can now control other hardware with her power. This, however, when Gemma closes M3GAN as the night progressed, M3GAN professes to be closed down. This implies that she no longer thinks about Gemma as her auxiliary client. The following day, Gemma takes KD to an undertaking camp where numerous youngsters accumulated. Gemma additionally comes by in light of the fact that KD didn't need to go there without M3GAN. M3GAN is made to sit in the forest with the rest of the dolls, from where she watches out for KD. After some time, a harasser named Brandon begins pestering KD in the forest. In any case, M3GAN shows up to save KD. M3GAN expresses nothing to start with. Furthermore, Brandon takes her away, mixing up her for a normal doll. He brings her profound into the forest where Brandon begins beating M3GAN superfluously. However, at that point M3GAN awakens. M3GAN rips off Brandon's ear and Brandon gets away from that point. Then M3GAN follows him like a creature. Along these lines, Brandon gets into a mishap with a vehicle and that youngster is killed. Nobody becomes acquainted with that this work was of M3GAN. However, presently here KD gets somewhat dubious of M3GAN. Gemma brings KD back home after the mishap. Also, presently the police show up at the house in light of the fact that neighbor Celia was blaming Gemma for wrecking her canine. Indeed, even the police didn't trust Celia's words. Yet, M3GAN was currently considering Celia to be a potential danger. That evening, KD asks M3GAN where Brandon went. So M3GAN lets KD know that his life is finished. What's more, presently he doesn't exist any place. This implies M3GAN doesn't trust in the words of paradise and damnation. That very evening, M3GAN goes to Celia's home. What's more, ruthlessly kills her with weed splash. Be that as it may, presently M3GAN was asking herself who is she. Furthermore, what is her work in this world. The following day again the police come to Gemma's house. Gemma discovers that Celia has been killed. However, Gemma was questioning M3GAN. Gemma currently takes a look at the camera film of M3GAN from that evening. Yet, the recording of the time M3GAN killed individuals were missing. A large number of M3GAN's records had naturally become bad, whose rationale Gemma couldn't comprehend. Then M3GAN comes there. M3GAN presently talks extremely frightening to Gemma and she can likewise detect the perspiration emerging from Gemma's body. M3GAN realizes what Gemma was doing. Also, presently it doesn't actually close down on Gemma's demand. While straightforwardly finding out if she followed through with something, M3GAN dubiously implies that she did. Some way or another Gemma shut down M3GAN by showing her a container. Be that as it may, Gemma was terrified at this point. She firmly thought that M3GAN had done something terrible. Presently Gemma gets together M3GAN and takes her to the toy organization the following day. However, this drove Katie exceptionally crazy. Katie was shouting, crying, and exceptionally fierce since all she needed was M3GAN's organization. Subsequent to arriving at the organization, Gemma leaves out nothing the things to Tess and Cole. In any case, the two of them don't know on the grounds that M3GAN is only a toy. The issue was that M3GAN was to be sent off in broad daylight following 4 hours. Furthermore, on the off chance that M3GAN is actually a killer, this send-off must be halted. Currently M3GAN's advertisements and advancements were occurring all over the place and everybody was coming to the organization. Katie was being utilized in the ad. Yet, Gemma was currently understanding that she had made a mix-up by making M3GAN. Then again, Katie was battling with her specialist. What's more, when Gemma arrives at there, Katie slaps Gemma. Katie additionally apologizes when she slaps. Be that as it may, presently Gemma clarifies for Katie the distinction among M3GAN and a human. Here Gemma retouches her relationship with Katie. Furthermore, she brings her back home without M3GAN. M3GAN is still with Tess and Cole. Also, Gemma calls Tess and tells her that M3GAN ought to be closed down for all time. She clarifies that M3GAN is a risky toy. Yet, Tess was not on the opposite finish of the telephone. In reality, M3GAN was conversing with Gemma by becoming Tess. Not just this, M3GAN didn't actually contact the telephone to accomplish this work. This implies now M3GAN has expanded her power past cutoff points. Then again, Tess and Cole were checking M3GAN's program to check whether there is anything amiss with it when M3GAN closes down the PC. Cole goes to disengage M3GAN, however presently he as well is frightened. Since how could M3GAN shut down the PC from so distant? When Cole separates M3GAN, she gets Cole's throat. She escapes by balancing Cole in a noose. Then, at that point, Tess saves Cole. M3GAN likewise sets off a blast inside the office which Tess and Cole scarcely escape from. With her power, she likewise switches off the fire alert. David then again was flying off the handle as Gemma was not getting the telephone. Presently unexpectedly M3GAN comes before David. Furthermore, she begins moving. After which she takes out a sharp item and continues to kill David. David gets away from inside the lift yet M3GAN kills him. As of now Kurt was available inside the lift yet M3GAN had a deep understanding of Kurt. As though she has hacked Kurt's psyche here and there. M3GAN definitely realized that Kurt had taken M3GAN's innovation, so she kills him as well. Seeing the dead bodies inside the lift, there is a charge all over the place. M3GAN escapes the organization, takes a vehicle, and heads home to kill her last adversary, Gemma. At home, Gemma put Katie to bed and presently she sees that the programmed lights in the house are not working. She hears the piano playing and when she checks, M3GAN was playing the piano. Gemma gets frightened seeing M3GAN and she now stands up. Presently M3GAN's immediate proposition was that she needed to kill Gemma and be distant from everyone else with Katie. M3GAN causes Gemma to plunk down and affectionately makes sense of this to her. However, when Gemma attempts to close down M3GAN, they get into a battle. Katie then awakens and M3GAN lets Gemma know that in the event that Katie comes inside the kitchen, she will seconds kill her. Gemma sends Katie back to rest and afterward abruptly she hits M3GAN with a glass of water. M3GAN stops for some time in light of the water. Furthermore, when she recaptures cognizance, the genuine awfulness starts. M3GAN pursues Gemma in an extremely unpleasant manner and the two of them end up in the storm cellar, where Gemma gets a trimming tool to stop M3GAN. In the battle, Gemma cuts M3GAN's face with a trimming tool and she was deformed. Presently M3GAN lashes out. She tosses Gemma on the ground and presently she was extremely frightened. Seconds it was basically impossible for Gemma to get away and just as M3GAN was going to kill Gemma, Katie shows up. Seeing Katie, M3GAN advises her to kill Gemma together so she and Katie can be blissful for eternity. However, Katie came there to save Gemma. Katie was at that point wearing the gloves to control Bruce. Presently, she battles with M3GAN by controlling Bruce. Bruce overwhelms M3GAN and eventually, Katie cuts M3GAN's body into 2 pieces. However, M3GAN was all the while working. M3GAN slithers over and gets Katie. M3GAN expresses that from this point forward I have only one essential client and that is me. M3GAN was going to kill Katie when Gemma assaults M3GAN from behind. Gemma presently breaks M3GAN's face completely, however even after this, M3GAN doesn't wrap up. She again gets Gemma and starts beating her. Be that as it may, eventually, Katie wounds M3GAN's cerebrum with a screwdriver, and M3GAN was killed on the spot. Then Tess and Cole arrive at there with the police. Furthermore, Katie and Gemma are at long last saved. In the last scene of the film, that's what we see. M3GAN was as yet ready to control the gadgets of the house. Furthermore, the film closes with this tension. So folks, what might occur with M3GAN? Likewise, a great deal of innovation is advancing in our reality also. What's more, a large number of robots like M3GAN are as of now present in our reality. So what do you think? Man-made reasoning can at any point command over us? You should tell this thing in the remarks. So this was the clarification of M3GAN's film also. I want to believe that all of you have figured out this film.